Well, 11 videos. If I did it again, I don't think it would be any shorter. It's been a long process and we're finally together. So let's have a look at each of the parts one at a time and talk about what the repairs were and if I did it again, what I would do the next time. Right, so probably the most of the work that we did in the repairs was to the rocker arm, which is the yellow bit. At part 2-32 in the manual, and this arm sits on a large pin down in there. This whole mechanism, I gather, is called a Scotch yoke, and it reciprocates backwards and forwards and drives the top slide. So most of the repairs that we did to the machine were in this area here. So I made up a new block, that block there. We've put a lubricator on it rather than a hole. The original part only had an oil hole. We've machined these two surfaces. That's a nice tight fit. We've got about 1/1000th between those surfaces and the bearing, which was a bit more than I intended, but so be it. We also replaced the bearing, which you can't see, up on the top end of that arm, and we did a repair to the ball wheel. Now I'll move the stroke so that you can see that repair. Okay, so I've now got the stroke shortened up, so you'll see that I've moved the block towards the centre of the slide on the ball wheel, and this is the repair that we've done. It was broken away through there before, and so we didn't have 10 inches of stroke. We were probably reduced to about 7. So now we've got our full 10 inches of stroke. So I've now got the machine set at about half stroke, and so we'll start it up and let you see that operate. So we now have let's measure it. So we've now got the machine set at 2 inches of stroke. So most of the repairs that happened were inside there. The other repair was the bronze bush inside the top of the I don't know why I keep on calling it a Scotch yoke. It's and now I've forgotten what it's called. But anyway, the top of that arm, there's a new bronze bush there. There's an oil hole there, which is fairly easy to forget. Other than that, it was just a disassembly and repaint, which was a big job. Oh, also we've replaced these oil holes with oil cups. The original oil holes, I hate those things, they're hard to use, and the worst problem is you can't tell whether you've actually got any oil down inside them or not. At least with these oil cups you can. So the pointing of the lettering on the doors was fairly easy. I saw that somewhere on YouTube. You just do it with a very small piece of sponge, wetted with red paint, so that's easy to do. There's a few gotchas or gimmies that make the machine hard to take to bits and hard to put together again. Right, so the first difficulty I had was getting that pin out, this one just here, and there is a grub screw on the underside of this pin on this side of the machine, which is the right hand side of the machine if you're looking at it from the back, and that pin is actually reasonably tight, but it does come out when you get the grub screw undone. When you don't get the grub screw undone, the pin doesn't move. So that was the first tricky bit. To get this rocker arm out, you've got to have that top, you've got to have the top knuckle facing that way, so you can get the slide out before you can get the rocker arm out. So the rocker arm comes out through the top if you take the ball wheel out first. Otherwise the rocker arm drops out through the bottom of the machine. The reassembly is the reverse process. I put the ball wheel in first, and then I couldn't get the rocker arm in because it won't go in through the top, and I ended up having to put a piece of nylon cord down through the bottom of the machine and putting the rocker arm, introducing it up into the mechanism from underneath and lifting it up with a nylon cord, getting it on the pin, and then putting the slide on last. These gibs on the box are a bit tricky because you can't get at the nuts. So the gibs that I'm talking about are these ones here, and there's three on the bottom side. They're a bit tricky to get out because this is in the way, so you've got to move the box left and right in order to get at those. Quite well designed in as much as the centre adjustment bolt for the gib is not in the centre, it's slightly offset, so you can't, to make the gib impossible to get in back to front. The tool post, if you call it a tool post, this here, the tool post clapper box assembly, it doesn't come out until you've got it upside down, so you can't get this off the slide until you have the box off, and then this assembly pulls out in that direction, but to get that pin out you've got to have it upside down, so you've got to rotate this, and so this is at 6 o'clock. You need to be very careful that this is in the right place before you run the machine, because it is possible to crash the tool post against the ways. I haven't done it, I haven't come close, but it's something that I'm very, very conscious of. Right, what have I got left to do? Unfortunately, the mechanism that goes, the auto feed from here onto the cross feed is missing. I'll just start the machine. Right, so there is an arm that fits on here, and a clicker action on these on the cross feed, which is that one there, and that's missing. So I'm going to have to make it to make a gear, cut a gear, fabricate what looks like a casting, make this arm and a T-nut for that, which won't be difficult. I'm pretty happy. It was a lot of hard work. I didn't actually intend to go this far. I intended simply to make it work. But the further I got, the further it became obvious that it had to come to bits. The reason I actually took it to bits in the very first place was because there was a bad clunk in the machine, and that was, I think, due to that slider block, which was badly worn, and also the pin on the bottom of the rocker arm. In order to get the rocker arm out, you've got to disassemble the whole machine, and if you disassemble the whole machine, you might as well clean it and paint it. So that's what we ended up doing, and now I'm really pleased that I did. But it was a lot of hard work, and it has taken me. Well, I don't like to add up the time. Quite a few days. Fortunately, Christmas, New Year, I've been home, and my wife has had other things to do, so she's been quite happy that I've been otherwise engaged down here. So now I've got a machine that I'm pretty happy with. So now we've got to do some work on it. So the first thing I've got to do is grind some tools, and my first project is to make some tool holders for the lathe, which are these. And unfortunately my lathe doesn't have a simple dovetail on its tool holder. It has this, I think this is called a Spanish style from memory. No, Italian style, sorry. So there's going to be a bit of trickery going on there, but I have been looking at a few other shaping videos, and I think it's probably doable as a first project, but I'm going to have to be careful. It's going to take a while, and I'll try and get 3 or 4 done in a row. So I'll buy a bar of steel that's 8 or 9 inches long, and these are, how big are these? Okay, they're 1.5 inches each, so I should be able to do 4 without too much effort. Alright, so the next video will be my first project. Thanks guys for watching, and I apologise for the 12 videos, but I doubt whether anybody would have watched all 12.